just the fact that sometimes I think as parents there are things that we feel we think but we must never say, and when I write the blog I just completely disregard that and I write what I'm thinking, and I think it just so happens that what I'm thinking is what a lot of other people are thinking as well.
Was motherhood what you expected it to be?
It was, I think so. Don't touch that. It was probably harder than I thought it could be. No one can prepare you for how difficult it's going to be.
Okay.
I haven't really seen many blogs that actually talk about, the realities of parenting. Not being really negative, but just like laughing about it, trying to make it a bit more, seem okay to kind of not find it easy all the time.
Well, certainly more tiring than I expected. I don't think anyone ever prepares you for that. That is the worst part, the sleep deprivation and just having not a minute to yourself.
I don't know, I suppose reason people follow me because they just feel like I'm kind of sharing the same sort of experiences of motherhood as they are, sort of like the more of the real side of it, the kind of the nitty, the gritty and the really, the sort of shitty bits basically.
The hardest thing I think about being a mother is you don't have the freedom that you did before. Joe, go down. You can't do interviews in peace.
I think some of the very big bloggers when I started were really heavily edited photographs, talking a lot about crafts that they do and these meals that they cook, and it's all bollocks because life's not like that.
No.
It's not, you can't be like that 100%. So I think I am a balance.
The hardest thing about being a mother is to make sure you are the perfect mother and to do everything that is right for your child, I suppose.
I think that's where this image of perfection, isn't it? I think that's unfortunately what I certainly felt like when I first became a mum. Like my image of motherhood was that you did have to be perfect, you had to be all things at all times. So you had to be this amazing mum that did absolutely everything and could basically was fluent in sign language and could speak baby and knew from every cry exactly what their child wanted, and that all these things would happen and all that kind of stuff. And then when you do it, it's like a massive shock to the system. For starters, when you have your first baby, it's like, wow, okay, wasn't expecting it to quite be like that. This is not what I thought I was buying into, type thing.
When I came out of hospital, every man and his dog kept saying to me, "Isn't it amazing? Isn't it the best thing in the world?" And I remember thinking, she's all right.
Ready for it, but it's still
always
hard.
looked after other people's children and I love them so much. I thought I'm going to have this baby and I'm going to love it so much and not going to know what to do.
And then the intense
And then he
guilt
arrived and I
because
was
you
like,
feel like that.
I just want someone to take him away because I was tired.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Do you feel
people always say, girls and natural mothers look, they like to play with the dollies and the pushchairs, and they like to change the nappies.
Nurturers, aren't we?
Yeah, but I don't think I'm like that at all. I think I'm the complete opposite. I have to push myself to be a mother.
Parents have said, oh yeah, I love every second, and I've kind of thought, okay, they're obviously very different to me, but maybe people genuinely do love every second, and that's fine. But I've then received messages from mums who tell me that they are that person that stands in the park and says, I'm loving every second, but actually they're going home and thinking, I'm not loving very many seconds at all at the moment.
And I just remember thinking my niece was so cute and I was really looking forward to it and just, thinking, I don't know, just I didn't at all understand the realities of looking after a baby. I just hadn't seen it, so I was totally unprepared and I found it really
well,
hard.
I'd seen my sister have all 4 of hers, so I thought I'd be a pro.
Yeah,
I really did think because I had every one of hers and everything, but no, nothing prepares you for. Oh God, it was horrendous. It's supposed to be needy every 4 hours. No, he wasn't.
No, Henry was like that, and he wouldn't sleep 20 minutes. If I could have watched him. I'm awake now. 20 minutes.
In the night?
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
But how funny is having this and you still have a new one?
Well, I think I think the biggest thing for me when I sort of first became a parent was, well, first of all, is obviously like the sleep thing, but you know, everyone's going to say that. It's just the fact that you're generally like completely exhausted to levels you never knew you could even function on before, yet somehow you manage to, like, each day. But I think for me, it was the idea that I could be surrounded by, you know, at the moment, these 2 little people kind of most of the hours of the day, yet still feel quite sort of lonely quite a lot of the time, if that makes sense.
But maternity leave wasn't quite what I expected. I did find it hard being away from work and just away from people. I found it quite lonely. Go on, you can play.
And I went back 2 days a week, and I just was really bored. I love my kids, but it's really boring.
The next biggest shock was the lack of sleep.
Mine wasn't the lack of sleep, mine was the lack of independence. I could handle the sleep, it didn't bother me. I mean, William was quite good anyway. At least
yeah,
he was
but you were
regular.
still quite a big party animal.
Yeah,
before you got
and
home.
it was the independent that like I could not fathom that I couldn't. This baby would always be by my side.
Like just the last few days, I've had this real bad problem with my mouth, and I just wanted to lie on the sofa and read a magazine and watch TV. But I don't have sick days anymore because I've got kids.
Like,
So
you're trapped in your house. Like, sometimes you're like, they're both asleep.
Yeah.
I should go to the cinema. You're like in your house.
The level of patience that's required, it far exceeds the level of patience that I've got and probably will ever have. You know, a toddler who is refusing to eat his lunch or swears blind that he doesn't need the toilet, and then the moment you leave the house he needs the toilet, or when the baby and the toddler are both crying at the same time, and sometimes I just want to scream.
Kind of, it's not hard work in the sense that you're like, you know, doing something that's really difficult, but it's hard work in the sense that it's very monotonous, very repetitive.
Yeah. I was saying this to Hayley the other day, like, you can get through it and then you kind of hit a wall, and that wall is normally when Dad goes back to work.
Yeah. And me just crying, him crying, her crying, me crying, and me going, who do I get to try and stop cry first? I find that really difficult, yeah.
There are some days when I look at the door and I think, God, I would like to open that door and walk out and keep on walking, and I never would, but I think sharing that, you know, it's fine to have moments like that. It's not a moment of weakness, it's just real life.
The unconditional love that you get back from your children, that's second to none, isn't it? Like, you can't buy that, can you? That's what you earn.
Getting to watch Peppa Pig.